There used to be this corner in my house, always filled with random things. Nothing dramatic, just a few bags, some old gift stuff I told myself I'd deal with later, but every time I walked past it, it felt heavy. I knew I didn't use those things anymore. I wanted to clear it out, but I didn't. It wasn't that I didn't have time. Honestly, 5 minutes would have been enough. I just wasn't ready to deal with those items. Because I knew touching them meant making a decision to keep, to donate, or to let go completely. And for some things, I wasn't ready to decide. Some were expensive mistakes I didn't want to admit. Some were gifts I felt guilty letting go of. Others were tied to memories I wasn't sure what to do with. And then one day it hit me. The reason my home felt cluttered wasn't the stuff, it was all the decisions I kept avoiding. This video isn't about decluttering your whole house. It's about how I started with just one small decision that helped me finally breathe easier. And if you got your own little deal with it later, this might be the video you've been needing. For a long time, I thought I was doing the right thing. I bought baskets, storage bins, drawer dividers. I'd spend hours grouping things into categories and putting labels on everything. It felt like progress. It looked nicer. But it never really solved the problem. The mess kept coming back. I still felt stressed when I looked in certain drawers or opened a closet. One day, I realized what I was really doing. I wasn't decluttering, I was just shifting things around. I was making clutter look neater. That's it. And a big reason I was trying to organize things I hadn't even made a clear decision about. Things I hadn't used in years but kept just in case. Clothes I didn't like anymore but felt bad giving away. Gifts I never used but kept out of guilt. Or things I spent too much money on and didn't want to waste. So instead of deciding what to do with them, I'd just fold them up and put them in a bin. I'd tuck them on a shelf or under the bed and tell myself I'd deal with it later. But later never came. And those same items kept taking up space, not just physical space, but mental space too. Now I do things differently. When I'm going through a pile of stuff, I don't ask, where can I put this? I ask, do I even want to keep this? Not maybe, not someday. Do I actually want this in my life now? If the answer is, I'm not sure, I don't organize it, I set it aside. Because organizing something I haven't truly chosen to keep is just hiding the real problem. The truth is, no matter how neatly you store clutter, it's still clutter. And if you want to keep going with this kind of shift tomorrow, I'll be posting a tip that helped me finally get my kitchen clean and actually keep it that way. No stress, no perfection, just one smart habit that works in real life. Hope you'll check back for it. Tip 2. Ask, what am I afraid of? This one took me a while to figure out. I used to hold on to things without even knowing why. A sweater I hadn't worn in 3 years. Old kitchen tools I didn't like using. Random decor that didn't match anything in the house. And every time I thought about letting something go, I'd hear this little voice in my head saying, but what if you regret it? And that's when I realized I wasn't keeping these things because they were useful. I was keeping them because I was afraid. Afraid of making the wrong decision. Afraid of wasting money. Afraid of hurting someone's feelings if they had given it to me. The fear didn't always feel dramatic. It showed up in quiet little ways like moving something back and forth from one shelf to another, never really using it, but never letting it go either. It felt safer to keep it even if it took up space and made me feel overwhelmed. Once I started naming the fear, it got easier. I'd hold something in my hand and ask, what exactly am I worried about here? Am I afraid I'll need it later? Am I feeling guilty? Am I just stuck in habit? Most of the time, the fear wasn't actually logical. It was just emotional. And when I saw it clearly, it felt smaller. So now, when something feels hard to let go, I don't ignore that feeling. I sit with it for a moment. I get curious. And once I understand it, I can move forward with a lot less hesitation. Because the truth is, letting go isn't really about the stuff. It's about learning to trust yourself. Next, there was a time when I kept a lot of things just in case. Just in case we threw a big party, just in case someone needed to sleep over, just in case we hosted a holiday dinner. I had extra plates, serving bowls, candles, tablecloths, even things I hadn't used in years. And I thought I was being prepared. I told myself it's better to have it than need it later. But here's what really happened. All those just-in-case items ended up sitting in the back of closets, taking up space, collecting dust. And every time I needed to find something I did use, I had to dig through the stuff I didn't. What I finally realized was this. I wasn't keeping those things out of usefulness. I was keeping them out of fear. Fear of not being ready, fear of having to spend money again, fear of being a bad host or not enough. And that fear made me hold on to things that didn't serve me anymore. So now I ask myself two simple questions. Have I used this in the past year? If I didn't already own this, would I choose to bring it into my home today? If the answer is no, I let it go. And if I really need something later, I trust that I'll find a way I can borrow it, get creative, or go without. Most of the time, those moments never even come. Letting go of just in case things doesn't mean you're unprepared. It means you're no longer living in fear of a future that probably won't happen. It means you're making space for the life you're living right now, not the one you're imagining, maybe someday. There's always that one item. You know, the one the drawer you pre in doesn't exist. The mystery box in the corner that's been taped shut since 2019. The thing you move from room to room like it's part of the furniture now. For me, it was this one bin of old decorations, stuff I hadn't used in years but somehow still felt guilty letting go of. Every time I decluttered, I'd say, yeah, I'll do that one next time. Spoiler alert, next time never came. Eventually, I decided to try something different. I made a cup of tea, sat on the floor, and opened the bin. And yep, it was just as awkward as I expected. I found things I forgot I even owned, and a few I honestly thought I'd already thrown out. Apparently, they found their way back. But here's the thing, once I got through that decision, I felt weirdly powerful. Like, okay, I did the thing I've been dreading for a year. Maybe I can do this whole decluttering thing. That little win gave me momentum. After that, the rest felt way easier. It's like doing the hardest part of a workout first, everything else is just cool down. So if there's something in your house that makes you sigh every time you see it, maybe stop sighing and just start there. Don't overthink it. Don't build it up into a monster. Just deal with it like a normal object. Because spoiler, it's not scary. It's just old wrapping paper and a slightly broken blender you never liked anyway. Let's be real, some items are just tricky. You pick it up, stare at it, and suddenly you're in a full-on mental spiral. But what if I need this someday, but my aunt gave it to me? But what if I regret it forever and never find another one like it? And okay, breathe. Not everything needs to be decided today, and not everything should be. Some things are ready to go. You feel it right away. But other things you need a little time. And that's totally fine. You don't have to get rid of every hard item just to prove you're making progress. What I do now is simple. If I come across something that makes me freeze, I don't force it. I just say, not yet. Then I set it aside and keep going. I move on to the next item, the next drawer, something easier. And here's the funny part. Most of the time, when I come back to that same tricky item a week or two later, I'm ready. It doesn't feel heavy anymore. I can let it go with no drama. So no skipping one item doesn't ruin your momentum. Forcing yourself to make hard decisions when you're not ready, that's what kills momentum. Give yourself permission to pause. You're not falling behind. You're learning how to listen to your gut. That's part of the process too. And hey, if an item's been sitting in the same corner, untouched for 3 years, what's one more week? Once you've decluttered a space, it feels amazing. Clear counters, calm drawers, you can breathe again. But here's the thing. No one tells you clutter comes back. even if you declutter like a champ. New stuff always finds a way in. A sale here, a birthday gift there, a late night, I deserve this purchase. Been there. And if you're not careful one day, you look around and think, wait, how did we get back here? What helped me was learning to notice when things start piling up before it turns into a whole overwhelming mess. I started calling it my stuff meter. You know, like a little internal alarm that goes off when the house starts to feel heavier. For me, that feeling shows up when drawers get hard to close, or when I'm stacking things instead of putting them away. When I hear myself saying, I'll deal with this later, for the third time in one day, yep, that's the signal. So now when my stuff meter hits that level, I don't wait. I grab a bag and do a quick reset. Pick 5 things I no longer use, love, or need and let them go. Not a full clean out, not a weekend project, just a little release. It's like taking the pressure off the balloon before it pops. It doesn't take long, but it keeps everything feeling manageable. And the best part? It builds trust with yourself. You start to feel like, okay, I've got this, because you do. For a long time, I treated decluttering like a big event. I'd build it up in my head, wait until the weekend blockout hours, and then end up totally drained. I'd burn out halfway through, surrounded by piles of stuff and half-finished decisions, wondering why I started at all. Eventually, I realized I was making it way too dramatic. Now I think of decluttering like brushing my teeth, just something small I do regularly so things don't build up. No pressure, no before and after, makeover vibes, just small, quiet maintenance. Here's what that looks like for me. While I'm waiting for the kettle to boil, I'll clear one drawer. If I'm folding laundry, I'll toss anything that's worn out or never worn. On Sunday evenings, I do a 10-minute lighten up, grab a bag, choose 3 to 5 items to let go, and that's it. Nothing fancy, but it works because it keeps clutter from sneaking back in without me noticing. The trick isn't doing one big declutter and hoping it lasts forever. It's building a gentle rhythm, one that fits into your real life, even on the messy, tired, nothing's going right days. This way, you don't feel like you're starting over every month. You're just staying light one little choice at a time. For a long time, I believed the only way to declutter was to clean an entire room at once. I would get overwhelmed just thinking about it. I'd start one corner of the room, but after a few hours, I felt like I barely made a dent. It seemed like I was making progress, but I was often left exhausted and discouraged with no significant changes. Then I realized that instead of decluttering an entire room, I could break it down into smaller, manageable zones. For example, focusing on a bookshelf, a drawer, or a corner of the room. This way, each section could be cleaned in a short amount of time and I could see results immediately. For example, instead of tackling the entire living room in one morning, I focused on clearing out a small corner where I kept old books and knickknacks. After finishing it, I felt a sense of accomplishment, and this motivated me to continue cleaning other areas. Little by little, I ended up decluttering the whole room without feeling overwhelmed. Next, for a long time, I would buy new things without really thinking about the things I already owned. I would purchase clothes, kitchen gadgets, or home decor because I thought they were essential, only to realize later that I had more than enough of everything. I kept accumulating things even though I was holding on to old items just in case I might need them someday. This habit of constantly bringing new items into my home while never getting rid of anything contributed to the clutter that started to overwhelm me. Eventually, I decided to try the one-in, one-out rule, which means that for every new item I bring into my home, I must get rid of one similar item. The idea is simple but effective. By removing something every time I add something new, I prevent the clutter from growing. For example, let's say I bought a new sweater. According to the rule, before I even unpack it or put it away, I have to find an old sweater that I haven't worn in months or even years and donate it or toss it. This way, I'm not just adding to the pile of clothes in my closet, I'm making space for the new piece by letting go of something I don't use anymore. This rule works because it helps me be more mindful of my purchases. I'm no longer adding items to my home without considering what I already have. It also removes any guilt I might feel about letting go of things. I'm not wasting them, I'm just creating room for things I actually use or truly love. For example, recently, I bought a new coffee maker that I felt would be more convenient than the one I already had. But before I took the new one out of the box, I made myself donate the old one. It felt good because I knew I wasn't just adding more clutter to my kitchen. I was letting go of something I didn't need anymore. The one-in, one-out rule helps maintain a balance. I get to enjoy new items without the burden of clutter building up over time. It's a simple but effective method that allows me to keep my home organized, and it encourages thoughtful purchases instead of impulse buys. I used to feel overwhelmed by the idea of decluttering. When I looked at my space, it felt like there were too many items to handle, and I didn't know where to start. I often thought, I'll clean this up tomorrow, and left it for later. But one day, I decided to try something different. I gave myself a challenge to actually keep only what I needed. Here's how the reverse clutter challenge works. Instead of focusing on what you need to get rid of, focus on what you want to keep. I set a timer for 10-15 minutes and started with one drawer, one shelf, or one small area. My goal wasn't to throw things out right away. It was simply to choose items that made me feel good or were truly useful. For example, when I started with my kitchen counter, I only kept the items I actually used every day, like my coffee maker and toaster. Everything else I moved off the counter to decide whether I really needed it. I realized that things like extra mugs or decorative pieces were just taking up space and didn't need to be there. What made this method different was that by focusing on keeping only the essentials or things that brought joy, I instantly saw how much clutter was unnecessary. I didn't have to struggle with letting go of items because I knew I was actively choosing what was important to me. I simply returned the things I didn't want to the storage area, and if I didn't use them for a while, they'd go. This approach gave me a refreshing perspective. I was celebrating the things I loved and getting rid of the rest without stress or guilt. If you're still here, I just want to say you're doing better than you think. Decluttering isn't about getting it all perfect. It's not about having an empty house or matching containers. It's about learning to trust yourself again. One decision at a time, one drawer at a time. Some days you'll feel ready to let go of 10 things. Other days you'll be proud just to move past one hard item. Both of those count. The point is, you're showing up, you're paying attention, and that already shifts something inside your home. If there was one part of this video that felt especially true for you, let me know in the comments. Or just share the item you've been scared to let go of. Sometimes saying it out loud is the first step. And if you want more gentle support like this, I'll be back tomorrow with a simple trick I use to keep my kitchen from going back to chaos. Nothing fancy, just one habit that's made a big difference in my daily peace. Until then, be kind to yourself. Let go when you're ready. And remember, you're not behind, you're already in motion.